All right, so now everyone should be able to see my screen here. So today we're going to be going over Microsoft Power BI. This is going to be at a level 100. So it's basically your introduction to Power BI. This is our agenda for today. We're going to do an introduction to Power BI, how to navigate the Power BI service, connect and collaborate with sample data, and then create a report using sample data. All right, so Microsoft Power BI is a business analytics service that delivers insights for analyzing data. It can share those insights through data visualizations, which make up reports and dashboards to enable fast, informed decisions. Whether your data is a simple Microsoft Excel workbook or a collection of cloud-based on-premise hybrid data warehouses, Power BI lets you easily connect your data sources to visualize or discover what's important and share that with anyone or everyone that you want. You have something here called self-service analytics, which helps reduces the complexity, cost, and security risk of multiple solutions and puts the power back in the hands of business decision makers. Reports can be shared with business stakeholders securely, and Power BI brings dashboards to anyone in your organization who needs them. With Power BI, you also have hundreds of custom visualizations and the ability to connect tons of data sources, including really tight integrations with Excel, and also has a capability of adding in artificial intelligence capabilities with deep artificial intelligence knowledge. All right, so the Microsoft Power Platform is comprised of four key products. We have Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. So Power BI consists of three parts. You have your Windows desktop application called Power BI Desktop, and you also have an online service called Power BI Service, and you also can utilize Power BI on your mobile device. And how you use Power BI might depend on the role of the project or the team that you are with. So Power BI Desktop has the Microsoft Windows Power BI Desktop application that allows you to create rich, interactive reports and a PowerPoint for data like experience that can be easily published to the Power BI service to be viewed by others. Now, Power BI Service is a software as a service application that runs on the web. While Power BI Service is commonly used for consuming reports, you also have that built-in Power BI desktop capability. So it's also possible to create out-of-the-box reports and dashboards in the cloud. And then you also have Power BI Mobile, where the mobile apps are available for iOS and Android. And you can go ahead and monitor those reports no matter your location. All right, so once we get started with Power BI, we're going to refer to different building blocks. The most important are data sets, reports, and dashboards. So a data set is a collection of data that Power BI uses to create visualizations. Reports is a report or a collection of visualizations that appear together on one or more pages. It's just like any report that you might create for a sales presentation or for a school assignment. Um, a Power BI report is a collection of items that are related to each other. And then lastly, here you have dashboards. When you're ready to share a single page from your report or a collection of visualizations, you can create something called a dashboard. So much like the dashboard in your car, a Power BI dashboard is a collection of visuals from a single page that you can share with others. So often it's a selected group of visuals that provide quick insight to the data or your story that you're trying to present. So you may hear us refer to visualizations, which are just visual representations of data like a chart or a color-coded map. And then visualizations in Power BI are shown in tiles. All right. And so now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our demonstration. I do ask that you bear with me for one moment. I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen and then reshare my screen again while we go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so now everyone should be able to see my desktop here. So I am going to be utilizing something called a virtual machine here. So the virtual machine allows me to be able to display and demonstrate some of our information without necessarily displaying any private information here. There are some limited capabilities, such as like sharing a camera or even the microphone inside of this area here, but because we're doing Power BI today, we shouldn't have any issues. All right, so the first thing that we will want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and navigate to our web browser. So you can utilize any web browser of your choosing. It doesn't necessarily have to be Microsoft Edge. That's the one that I'm using today, but you can use Google Chrome if that's something that you're used to using. You can also use Safari if you are on a Mac device. So the first thing you'll have to do is type in office.com or portal.office.com, or maybe you're going to have to log in utilizing the school credentials, depending on how you log into Office. But once you're logged in, you're going to be brought to a screen that looks like this. This is called the M365 landing page. So from here, if you do not see Power BI in the left-hand rail, you're going to go and click onto the little waffle icon. So from this waffle icon, you're going to see some apps that you most recently accessed. Now you might see Power BI here. I do have it here. But if you don't see it there, you can definitely go to where it says All Apps. And then you're going to be given a list of different applications that you have access to inside of your organization. So from here, this list is in alphabetical order again. I'm going to go ahead and go to where it says Power BI and just click on that. It should open up for you in a new tab. All right, so now that we are here inside of the Power BI interface on our web browser, we can do a little bit of navigation here. So the first thing that you'll probably notice, let me go ahead and zoom in for us so we can see nice and big, is you're going to see your profile or your contact card right here. It's going to give you who you're logged in as. So of course, I'm logged in using a demo account. The demo account is under my name. So, but you can see here that it has like some kind of weird email address that says onmicrosoft.com. So this is in fact my demo account. It's also going to show you the type of license that you're utilizing. So right now I'm actually utilizing a trial license of the Pro version. And it's going to ask you if you want to purchase the premium, and you can view your account from here as well. To the left of that, you're going to be able to see, since I zoomed in, I have this ellipses here, but usually you can see some little icons. You're going to see the little bell icon that gives us information for notifications inside of Power BI. We have our settings where we can go ahead and see that we have some different settings here. We can manage our personal storage, the admin portal, gateways, and the actual settings here for Power BI. Right here, we have this download option where we can download the Power BI desktop, help and support, which for me, it's always something to point out, especially with an application like Power BI. It's fairly easy to use once you get into it, but it can be a little confusing in the beginning. So if for whatever reason after this session here, if you're still a little confused or a little bit iffy on what to do, definitely go into that help and support area, and you can utilize getting started with Power BI. Usually it takes us to a support page. So if I click on that, it's going to take us here right to this Power BI support page, which I'm going to go ahead and actually copy right now. And I'm going to paste it inside of our chat so that you all have it. And then lastly, we have the feedback area here where if for whatever reason, if you notice that Power BI may be missing some kind of functionality, perhaps it's you feel that something else can be done differently, maybe a little bit more efficiently, whatever the case may be, you can definitely submit your ideas or even submit an issue if you are experiencing any issues, such as when you're trying to create a dashboard and it just doesn't come out the way that you would like. Definitely go ahead and utilize that feedback area. We do look at it. Our engineers constantly look at those pretty much every day, and we want to ensure that our products are good for the people who are using them. All right, of course, up here, you're going to have this little Power BI button, which just kind of brings us right back here to our home page. We have this left-hand pane here where we can see that we are on the home tab, but you also have a create button, a browse button, your data hub, any metrics or applications that are associated with Power BI, deployment pipelines, and then of course we have our learning resources. Below that, we have our different workspaces. So these are going to be the areas of where your Power BI reports and dashboards and all that information lives. So the first thing that I want to do here inside of our Power BI area is I want to go ahead and connect to a sample report so that you all can work alongside with me, and we all should have access to the sample report. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up that sample report really quickly. So you can do that in a couple of ways. You can either go to your data hub to kind of import data for your report. But what I want to do is I want to go to create. So when I go to create, it's going to allow me to build out my first report if I don't already have one that is created already. Now, usually if I do have one that's created, it's going to be located here inside of this home tab. And you can see some of the ones that I have frequently accessed. If I go and scroll down, I'm going to see my recents area where it shows me all of the recent reports and dashboards that I have accessed as well. I have a favorites area. If I favorite any one of my dashboards, I can go ahead or reports, so you can tell the different types as well. I can go ahead and add that little star icon to favorite those, and they're going to be located there. And then, of course, I have my apps where I can actually import different apps to be able to utilize inside of these reports. All right, so let's go into our learn option right here. And what we want to do is we want to choose the opportunity overview in our sample report. So right here, we have this opportunity analysis sample. So again, that's going to be found right here inside of the Learn tab. And we're going to utilize this opportunity analysis sample. So you should be able to see this in the Learn area, so you can definitely follow along with us today. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to load up the report, which just has some information already inputted into this sample report here. All right, so inside of this overview, we're going to see something here called opportunity revenue and then opportunity count. This is going to show us the performance across different geographies in various sales stages. So on the top left of our page, some of our most important information is going to show up here. All right, so we can see some of our performance indicators, and we can notice that there is right here currently 78.46 million opportunity and revenue, and then 18 opportunity counts. So we can also notice that there are going to be some regions that are displayed here as well on our report. So we're going to see the regions by a tree map, a bar chart, and then our map visualization. All right, so we have these three different visuals right here that are available to us that's based off of this information. Now, it might look a little different here because I already have it set to this quanti one, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kind of revert it back to its original form. Let's go ahead and reset that so that it looks the same on your end as it does on mine. So here's what it should look like, where it says 1.97 billion 444. You should see the same exact thing right now. Now, the only reason why it was different was because I had something saved, a view saved on it. All right, so let's go ahead and look at our tree map. So judging from the tree map, the East and Central regions account for the most of our revenue. So if we were to select the East region within the tree map, we're going to notice that the page dynamically updates by applying our selection across those multiple visuals on the page. So if I go ahead and I select the East region, now you'll see here that everything begins to change. I can also select the central one, and you're going to see again that all of these visuals change with each selection. All right, we can also see the results in our map if we go ahead and click on that East region. And we go ahead and kind of zoom in here a little bit for us so you can see a little closer. But you can see that this area marked in blue, which is New York, that the New York region is the one that is producing the most revenue. All right, so now what we can do is what I had done before, which is why it was coming up a little bit different, but we can actually save these different views as personal bookmarks. So if we go up to the top right corner where it says bookmarks right here, we can actually go ahead and click on that and we can add in a personal bookmark. Now I already have East and West, but if it didn't have that here, so let's go ahead and remove those. And let's add in our personal bookmark. Once you click on that, it's going to ask you to name the bookmark. So in this case, I just want to name it East for my East region. I can choose if I want to make this a default view by going ahead and checking on that. So essentially what's going to happen is if I make this a default view, whenever I come back into this report, this is the view that I'm going to see automatically instead of the overall view, which had like that 1.19 billion. It's going to show me only for this East view. But I can always revert it back and change it back to its default if I wanted to. So once I'm done, I can go ahead and hit save. And then you're going to see here that now we have that East bookmark saved for us with this view. Now you can pretty much do that with all of these. So if I go ahead and click on West, I can do the same thing. I can add in a personal bookmark. I can name it West. If I wanted to, I can make it my default view. In this case, I don't want to, so I can go ahead and just hit save. So it just makes it easier to have those different views whenever you want to share out this information on a particular view. All right. Now, again, I stated earlier that you can also reset it back to the default if you would like. So if you want to, you can go ahead and either click on that little back button where it says to reset the filters and slicers, etc. So if you click onto that, you'll be able to see here that you can reset it and it's just going to go back to its original view. All right. You can even go back into that bookmark area. You can click onto the ellipses. It's a little small here, so let me go ahead and zoom in for us. So you can click onto the ellipses and you'll be able to see here if any data for whatever reason changes, you'll be able to update that data. You can clear it as the default view. You can rename the bookmark, and then of course you can delete or remove the bookmark. All right, so creating a unique experience within Power BI isn't limited to saving your filters. You can also personalize the visuals to help draw insights in a way that makes the most sense to you and your audience. So if we wanted to, we can hover over our pipeline by stage chart, which is right here. And then we can select the personalize this visual option. So if we go ahead and kind of hover over it, you're going to see you have different options. And you can see the one right here, it looks like a little bar graph with a pencil. It says personalize this visual. So we can go ahead and click onto that one. Now, once we do that, it's going to expand and give us this little pane here. And then from here, we can group the select chevron to view all of the available charts and then select the funnel option. So let's go ahead and see if we can group everything together really quickly. So when you click on the visualization type right here, you can go ahead and see that we have our different visualizations. And we're going to go ahead and select that funnel option, which is right here. Now, once we do that, you can see here that that pipeline by stage area has changed to that different type of visualization that I just chose. All right, so now if for whatever reason, if it kind of stays stuck in that area here where it says personalized detail, if for whatever reason, if it stays stuck, sometimes it does, you can always go ahead and click on that little X and you'll be able to close out and go back into your different visualization report there. All right. So just like how we created our bookmark earlier, we can also save this personalized experience for any time that you view the report. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to reset this visual back to its original state, where it says right here, reset this visual. All right. And then Power BI being the PowerPoint for data, if you go back up to the top right corner, we can view this in a full screen mode if we wanted to. So let me go ahead and zoom out so I can see that information there. So you can see right here where it says view, you can go ahead and choose full screen. So now what happens is when you choose full screen, it kind of looks like more or less a PowerPoint presentation. You have this information here at the very bottom. You can view the details of this particular visualization. And you have a little arrow here that allows for you to kind of go through the different pages, if you will, of information. So this is basically all of the information that is being received. And then this is going to be the actual visualization that has been created. So now you can kind of see those differences side by side. Now you can always go ahead and exit by clicking onto those little arrows that are pointing at each other right here. And it's going to just take you out of that full screen view. So now that we already have that kind of out of the way there, which is, again, just a little bit of information that you can do here inside of Power BI, we're going to go ahead and return to this opportunity overview area, which we're already in. And then you can notice that the revenue and the opportunity count by month chart. So opportunity, revenue, and opportunity count by month. That there's a large variability on the revenue by month. So with July through November having particularly low total revenue. So we're going to try to explore some insights here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click on the July column. So right here where it says July, we're going to go ahead and do a right click. And then once you do that right click, you're going to see this little pane pop up. And what we're going to click on is analyze. Well, we're going to hover over analyze. So now we see that there's two available sections, one that says explain the decrease, and then the other one that says find where this distribution is different. So these options are part of our advanced analytical capabilities that help you review insights potentially found within your data. So for example, if we go ahead and we click on explain the decrease option, you're going to go ahead and you're going to see some information here. So the first insight provides us with information that there was a 61.19% decrease in revenue between June and July. And then we can also see that that decrease was primarily caused by North Carolina, Kansas, and Pennsylvania that had the largest decrease among those states, offsetting the increases of West Virginia. All right. If you keep scrolling down, you're going to also be able to see some other visualizations. And we can see different types of insights that are found within our data. Now, of course, to exit the quick insight menu, you can click anywhere on the report page. All right, we also have something here. Personally, I think that it's very useful. It's called the natural language query or query. My English is not that great in that pronunciation, so I apologize about that. But we have something called a natural language query, which we can ask questions of our data. So in the top right corner, we should be able to see some information here. And sometimes for me, it doesn't show up, but oh, right here. Here it is, this little question mark box. It's kind of difficult to see where that's at, but right here in the top right corner of our actual report, we're going to see that little kind of comment box. So if we actually click on that, it's going to open up this Q&A window. So in here, we can essentially type in different comments, if you will, or different questions to return results of our data. So for example, if we go ahead and we type in something like revenue, it's going to give us that information. So we see here 1.97 billion in revenue. Now, if we wanted to update this, we can go ahead and say something like revenue by product. And sometimes it wouldn't show, but it gives us some results here. But we can go ahead and click on that. And then it pretty much gives us all of the information of all of our products and the revenue that each one of those products are receiving, more or less. And then if we wanted to, we can kind of change this right here and say in a pie chart, let's go ahead and see if we can change that again. So instead of products, I want to go ahead and put revenue. Actually, let's go ahead and put bottom 3 revenue by product in a pie chart. All right, there we go. Sometimes it kind of corrects you on what you can put there, but you can see here now I have the bottom 3 products in a pie chart. So you can kind of change that visualization. You can ask pretty much any questions that you want of the data. So let's go ahead and close out of this, hitting that X. All right, so next, let's see how we can go ahead and navigate up and down our hierarchies within our visualizations and across reports, the report pages. So on the revenue by region chart right here, the region and state chart, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a right click onto the East region. All right, so this is going to give us a menu again. And in this case, what we want to go ahead and choose is drill down. So this is going to automatically apply this filter for the East region to the report page. So now if we go ahead and we navigate to the bar chart to the state level, we'll be able to see here that it shows all of the different states, right? So whenever we choose drill down, we can kind of see all of this information of state by state. Instead of it just being one whole region, we get that state by state information. All right, so we can actually right click on any one of these states, and we can also choose drill up to return back to that regional level of East, Central, and West. All right, we will also see that option. So if we go back into drill down, if you hover over the name right here, you see where it says region, revenue by region and state. If you hover over it, you're going to see that drill up option, and you're also going to see a drill down option and some other options there as well. But in this case, we want to go ahead and choose that drill up. It's just going to bring us back to that regional view. All right. So some of those options that you do have are, one is called drill up. The other one is called drill down. And then we have something here that's called go to the next level in the hierarchy, or expand all down one level in the hierarchy. So again, we have drill up, which we can't really drill up anymore. It's grayed out. Let me go ahead and zoom in for us there. We have drill down. Go to the next level in the hierarchy. Expand all down one level in the hierarchy. And then we can also pin that visual. We can copy it and then filter, of course. And then we also have this other view here called focus mode. All right, so you do have some different options there on how you can kind of expand or go deeper into these into the data, depending on how many levels of data there are. In our case here, for this particular information here, it really only goes down one more level. So it just goes down to the state level. So it's the regional level and then the state level. All right. So if for whatever reason, if you are working on a report and there are no drill options available, that just means that there's no hierarchy that's inputted into the visualization. All right. So let's go ahead and let's talk about what else we can do here. So as we're starting to uncover some of these insights, sometimes we may need some more detailed information or detailed breakdown that would be helpful. So again, we're inside of that revenue by region right here, the bottom one. And we can notice that we have, whenever we hover over or above the different regions, we can see something that gives us that right click, and we see something here that says drill through. You can select the option that says detail, and this is going to navigate to a detail page. So it kind of gives us that back information on how we can go ahead and filter to show certain things. So if we wanted to only show like the East region, for example, we can do that. So we can kind of collapse all of that information. We can choose which region that we're looking at, all from right there in that drill through area. All right, and then to get back, I just simply clicked right up here where it says opportunity overview. All right, so like a pivot table, you may notice that whenever we're inside of that matrix chart, that we can go ahead and we can select different headers. So I'll go back in. So we can actually kind of filter out all of this information here. Maybe we want to select this revenue one, and we can filter out by which area had the highest revenue to lowest. And then vice versa, we can show the smallest to largest. So it's very similar to what you would get inside of an Excel spreadsheet with a pivot table. Again, that drill through option will only appear if a drill through has been set up for the report by you as the creator. All right, so let's look at how specific products are doing. So using a slicer on the top right page, we can go ahead and select something called Quanti. So that's one of our products here. So we're going to go ahead and select the Quanti one, which is right here. So now we can see that our revenue with Quanti is going to be strongest inside of Kansas and New York. So we can see here from our map visualization that we can see New York and Kansas are the ones that are driving the revenue for this particular product. All right, so now while Quanti is still selected, we can actually go to this revenue and opportunity count by month chart. And I want to go ahead and select May. So once I click on May, you're going to see that the page is going to be currently filtered by not only that product of Quanti, but also by May. So in the top right of our revenue and opportunity count by month chart, we can also select the ellipses option, and then we can choose something called chat in Teams. This is going to allow us to share this specific information to someone, our colleague or whoever it is inside of Teams. So we can go ahead and click chat in Teams. You're going to see that it's going to go ahead and allow us to add in the type. So we could type in the person's name, group, or channel. So again, this is going to be within your organization. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to add in Darius, I can go ahead and do that and just simply hit share. So now I basically shared out a link, which is going to have this view to one of my colleagues. So if I go into Teams, I should be able to see that. All right, and then whenever they click onto that link, they're going to be brought to that visualization there. So that's how you can go about sharing particular views that are filtered with other colleagues inside of Teams. All right, and again, you can also share that to an actual team as well. So if I wanted to, let's say if I wanted to share this with my Mark A project team. And let's just share it to the general channel there. I can also type in a message. So let's go ahead and say, great job. And then hit share. So now I can go back into Teams inside of that general channel, and I'll be able to see the message that I just posted. Great job, Quanti team. And once they click onto that link, it's basically called something a deep link, meaning that the filters that were applied with the Quanti product in the month of May are going to be preserved and passed back to Power BI whenever any one of your colleagues goes ahead and clicks onto that link. All right, and then the visual that you shared will be spotlighted as well, so that the focus in the report will be that particular report whenever they click on it. So if I go ahead and click on that, so now you can see how everything else is grayed out, but this revenue by opportunity count by month is the one that is kind of highlighted here in the month of May. Now, also, you may have noticed that when I was inside of Teams, that I did have the Power BI application already installed within Teams. To do that, you can go into apps. You'll be able to search for Power BI. I already have it added in, so when I click on it, it's just going to allow me to open, but you'll see something here that says add. And essentially, you're going to be able to add in the Power BI application right here into Teams. So if you are utilizing Teams, this just kind of helps to alleviate going back and forth between like a web browser or a desktop app, whatever the case may be. So it's going to be right here in one place. So let's go ahead and talk about the last few sections here that we have available to us. So what I want to do now that I have all of the information saved for me is I want to go into my workspace. And inside of my workspace, again, this is going to be the area where we can develop our data and exploration. So kind of like today's learning session. So we're going to go ahead and go into this workspace. And we can choose pretty much any workspace that we're working on if we already have some created, or we can create a new workspace as well. Now I'll be able to kind of see right here where it says my workspaces, any of the different reports and dashboards that I have created as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and just click on that, hit create. And now we can name a workspace here. So I'm just going to go ahead and name this one new demo, something like that, and hit save. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and click on where it says new. And we're going to choose the report option. Now you'll notice that it kind of changed here to this create tab. But if prompted, it's going to ask you to either select one of these so you can paste or manually enter data, or you can pick a published data set. In our case here, we want to go ahead and pick a published data set that we already have available to us. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to be able to see pretty much all the data sets that are available to us. And we can go ahead and choose the one that we're utilizing, which is this opportunity analysis sample. and I'm going to go ahead and hit create. All right. So now what we're doing here, again, is we're basically going to build out a report. Now, again, a report kind of has a number of different pages. So you can have multiple pages on a report, and you'll be able to input certain information that you want onto the report. All right, so on the report page, we're going to notice that Power BI has provided us with some helpful watermarks, letting us know that we can go ahead and begin to instantly drag in fields from our field pane onto the canvas. So we're going to go ahead and navigate to the right-hand side and then see what we can expand or collapse in the field panes. So we can see here that we have account, fact, opportunity, etc. We can kind of expand and collapse all of this information here as need be. All right, you also have the ability to go ahead and click onto the arrows here, and it's going to collapse these different views as well. And if you do a right click, you can choose expand all, and it's just going to expand all of that information there for you. Again, if you do a right click, you can collapse all. So depending on how you want that view to look, you can change it. So we can also utilize the search menu if we know exactly what we're searching for. So for our report, what we want to do is we want to expand the account table. And we want to go ahead and drag the state field onto the report page. All right, so now we can see that Power BI has instantly generated a map visual for us to use, and it also has bubbles representing each state and territory. So to gain some insight on the total impact of each state, we can start using the search and then type in the term revenue. So if we go ahead and search and then type in revenue, here we can see under this fact table that we have some different options of revenue available to us. All right, so we can also click and hold on the revenue measurement and then drag it over into the table. And we can just place it right over the top of that map. And so now you can see that the bubbles kind of got a little bit bigger. And if we hover each one of those, we're going to get some information and some tooltips as well. Whereas before, it was just showing kind of a standard view of it, but now we can see some more information about revenue for each one of those states. So of course, Power BI is great for dragging and dropping your data. But if you already know the questions that you wanted answered, you can go ahead and leverage that Q&A visual for that natural language query. So we can start by either dragging and dropping from the visuals pane the Q&A visual, or my favorite tip, by double clicking onto the report page. So if you go ahead and click on it, it's just going to add in that Q&A for you automatically. So now we can see Power BI suggesting some initial questions, but again, we can go ahead and begin to type in maybe revenue by product code. And we can go ahead and type that in there. And if there was any information, we're going to go ahead and see some of that information return. And we can always update the question if we have more context or we wish to change the chart. All right. Let's go ahead and move this one really quickly. Sometimes it doesn't do what I would like it to do. So if we go into this visualizations one here as well, we can find that question, that Q&A, and place it in there. And see if we type in again. All right, so nothing yet, and that's okay. All right, and there we go. So now it came up because I pressed, there was a little button here at the top, so I'll show you how I did that really quickly. So let's go ahead and double click. It's a little difficult to see, but there's this little box right here that you can click on to kind of show that information. So again, I typed in revenue by product code. And when I hit enter right now, it should show that information now. All right. So now we're getting some great insights, but we need to understand the overall increases and decreases that are occurring with our results over time. So we can also click on the waterfall chart from the visualizations pane, and then this is going to add it to our canvas. So the waterfall one kind of looks like next to the filter or the funnel one. So we can click on that. And I always make that mistake there. So let's go ahead and remove that really quickly. And I'll show you now that I made that error. What happened was I have this Q&A one that I wanted. So I want this one to remain. So I want this one to remain like this. So if you don't actually click onto the canvas and you leave it as such, it's going to add in that new visualization to where you have clicked. So for example, if I click on to this visualization here with the question, if I put in that waterfall chart, it's just going to kind of cover over that. So what I want to do is click onto a blank area of the canvas. And then now I want to add in that waterfall chart. And now you can see here that it adds it in. So we want to add in the necessary data fields really quickly to our visualization to get that information. So in the fields pane, what we can do is we can add in the revenue from the fact table. So we're already in fact, so we can go ahead and add in revenue. And then we can also add in the values group as well. So let's go ahead and turn off this filter really quickly. You can pretty much add in any one of these that you want. So we have revenue that we added in. And let's go ahead and add in the estimated close date. If we can find it. So that's also going to be in the fact table. Estimated close date. Oh, right here. Boom. And there we go. All right, so now from here within our hierarchy, we can begin to utilize that drill up or drill down to see various results from the options that we have. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and utilize the last one that says expand down all one. Sometimes we can do it right click, expand down to the next level. And there we go. So for our next example, we want to explore where the categories have the most impact in over time in a summarized table. And we're almost done. I know that we're definitely a little bit over time here, but we're almost done, I promise. So again, we can click on the matrix in the visualizations pane to add in a visualization to the canvas. And now from within the rows group, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on the matrix pane. Then I want to go ahead and add in that matrix one. So I'm going to click onto my canvas, blank spot, add in the matrix. All right, so now from within the rows group, we want to go ahead and add the product code from the product table. So we're in product. We want to add in that product code. So we're going to actually drag it to where it says rows. All right, and then within the columns group, we're going to add in the month from the fact table. So fact, and we're going to go ahead and add a month in the columns. So now you can see that we're kind of building out this visualization here. And then for the values group, the last one there, we're going to add in the revenue measurement from the facts table. Revenue, and we're going to go ahead and put it into that values. And there you go. And now you can kind of expand this to see what it looks like, but we basically just kind of inputted all that information there into that visualization. All right, so the matrix is a great start, but let's go ahead and provide some visual indicators to help surface insights easier using color. So again, within this visualizations pane, we can select the format painter right here. And we can go ahead and search or scroll down and expand the conditional formatting option, which is right here. All right, and then from there, we want to change the color status to on for revenue. So revenue, we want to go ahead and add in some color. Maybe we can just add in that background color and just turn it on so we can see. And now we got some color there to kind of show us the differences inside of that visualization. So let me see if there's anything else here that we can add in, but I think that's pretty much the last information that I have to give to you. I know that we're about 10 minutes over, so I do want to be respectful of everyone's time here for today, but that's pretty much all the information that I have to go over right now. And then what you can do is once you're done with creating your visualization, you can save it. You can also duplicate the page. You can interact with the visuals as well. And then if you click onto the ellipses, you can also analyze the data inside of Excel. So I do want to show that really quickly before we go ahead and wrap up. Again, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but I do also want to be able to answer any questions or if anyone has any comments or anything about what we have went over for today. I do want to say thank you, and I appreciate everyone for staying a little over to learn more of this information. So I do want to say thank you to everyone.